Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Voices Beyond Borders. I'm Francesco Bajos, your host, and today I'm so happy to introduce you to our amazing and legendary guest. She's a drag queen, she's an author, she's an activist, and she's the amazing host of Drag Race Germany. Barbie is joining us today to introduce us or to give us a glimpse into her amazing life, her backstory, and the amazing initiatives she is working on currently. Everyone, please welcome Barbie Breakout.
Mein Name ist Barbie Breakout. Ich bin 45 Jahre alt, komme aus Berlin, bin Aktivistin, Autorin, Podcasterin und Fernsehmaus.
Guten Tag, Barbie. Willkommen to the show.
My pleasure to be here, my love. Thank you for having me.
Oh, trust me, Barbie. The pleasure is all mine. I know we've been talking a little bit before starting recording this, and I mentioned that when you accepted my invitation, I've been so happy, and I've been preparing for this for a long time. So I'm just glad that we were able to have our schedules work and record this. Now, Barbie, before we move into talking about Drag Race, talking about your amazing initiatives and all the work that you do, I want to take it a little bit back to the beginning. If you don't mind, can you please introduce yourself to our audience, our listeners, and also give us a glimpse into your early days as a drag queen?
Sure. My name is Barbie Breakout. I am an author, a TV host. Some people call me an activist, but we're going to get into that in a second.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm also a drag queen. 46 years old, live in Berlin. And some people know me from Drag Race Germany, which I hosted.
I love that. So Barbie, aside from all of those amazing labels that you just mentioned, how was your introduction to the world of drag? How did it start? Was it something you always knew that I wanted to be a drag queen, or did it just happen spontaneously?
I have a kind of a different approach to drag. I mean, my way of getting there was a little bit different than most other people. I feel a lot of other people get there because they want to feel fabulous for a night, or they want to, I mean, now with Drag Race being the success that it is, I guess it's also a viable career option for a lot of people. They think it's cool. That wasn't the case back in the day. When I was a kid, I think with 4 years old or 5 years old, I kind of told my parents that I was a girl and my name was Tina, and they were like, okay.
Interesting.
Not what it says on the papers. And it was just something that was always very present in my life, that I felt a really strong female energy next to, I guess, a masculine energy. And I guess it was okay for a while that I was dressing up, that I was wearing female clothing. By the way, I have 2 cats, and they're going to be on me the entire time.
We love cats here.
So they're annoying.
That's
also.
amazing. I have cats of my own, so I know the struggle.
Okay, perfect. So, for a while I was okay doing this, and then I had to go to school, and I got bullied, of course, and there was physical violence and shit like that. So I tried to push that part of me away, the female part. And it wasn't until I saw my first drag queen when I was probably 13, 14, because I thought I was trans for a long time, which I'm not, but I thought I was, because that was the only other option that I could find that was somewhere that was not binary male or female. And so when I saw my first drag queen, I was like, oh, I guess I could do this and live this part of myself and channel this energy that I have into doing drag. And that's how I started. I guess when I was 14, I want to say, I was in drag for the first time. I mean, it was really, really fucking shabby, but I tried.
No, it's very courageous. At 14 years old, like, that's amazing.
Oh, well. The thing is, I guess I still thought I was trans until, gender studies came about and people were talking about other labels except for cisgender and trans, and suddenly there was other terminology of how you could identify. And only then did I realize, I was like, oh shit, I'm not trans. I don't have to have this fight in my head the entire time if I am or if I'm not, or if I should start transitioning, if I should start taking hormones. And since then, I'm sort of comfortable with the term non-binary because it's kind of an umbrella term, and it
Definitely.
Yeah, I live under that umbrella somehow with my male and female sides.
I love that. And this actually reminds me of a saying that says, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but something along the lines that you don't know what you don't know. So
Yeah.
Again, before you discovered drag or what a drag queen is, you thought, okay, I have this feminine energy, so I must be trans. But then when you saw, oh no, there's other, like, you can identify as like non-binary, you can identify as a drag queen, although drag queen is not a gender or a sexual orientation. But once you know that there's other labels, or like how gender is fluid, it makes it a little bit easier to find something that you identify with, or what you don't identify with.
Right.
So I love that.
But it was actually more about identity than it was about the entertainment aspect or the fabulosity aspect. It was more about finding a channel for the energies that I was feeling. It sounds very esoteric.
No, I love that. It's like finding something that, how I'm going to say it, it's like finding who you are, like this one point, and literally owning it. Oh my God, here it is. I love it.
Nah.
Hi, baby. So yeah, I kind of understand. So growing up personally, I identify as a male. I don't identify as a woman, but I always had this feminine energy, and I didn't know how to express it. So like, I come from the Middle East, from Lebanon, which is a very masculine community. And if you don't identify as a macho man, so then you're a little bit left on the side, you're bullied. And growing up, that was me until I discovered drag, which is not very long ago, around 4 or 5 years. And I'm not a drag queen, but to me, I found drag that it could be an outlet for me to express my femininity. So even though I don't perform, even though I've never been into drag yet, hopefully soon, but I find it like it's an option. If I wanted to express that femininity of mine, I can do that and still remain I as Francesco in my daily life.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
But I think there's so much stigma in general about males not being masculine enough. I had a conversation yesterday with somebody that I work with, a stylist, and he's Italian, and he's in his early 30s, I guess. And I've known him for a long time. This is the first time he was opening up about this, and he said he still feels weird because he's a huge Beyonce fan, and when he lets loose on the dance floor and does the choreographies and shit. Even as an out gay man, he still feels so weird and vulnerable to show this like fierce side of himself. And he's in a relationship, and he's still a little bit afraid that his boyfriend also might be like, oh, that's not attractive. So I guess, I mean, it's not just, us non-binaries, it's not just drag, it's not any of that. I think masculinity is really difficult for 100%. A lot of people.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, especially personal effort, to actually be completely 100% open with who you are and just showing that to the world. Like, you make a lot of progress, and one tiny problem could take all that progress away. So that's why we always need to educate and raise awareness that femininity is not the opposite of masculinity. In my opinion, it's like they both, how I'm going to say this in English, it's like they go hand in hand. You don't have to be extra macho to be men. You can still showcase expressions, emotions, and all of that, and still be considered as a man. Okay, Barbie, moving from this topic a little bit, I want to go into Drag Race.
Macht euch startklar. Drag Race Germany.
So first of all, I just want to hear, when you first got the call that you were going to host Drag Race, what was your reaction? How did you perceive it?
I mean, they started casting already, right? So I have been fighting to get Drag Race Germany to get Drag Race to Germany since I think 2013 was the first time that anybody ever bought an international license from Drag Race ever from the franchise.
I remember like in early seasons, RuPaul did mention Drag Race Germany is coming soon.
So yeah, that was 2013, and we were trying to convince German TV stations to give us a chance, and they were just like, nah, this isn't, the German market isn't ready, and we don't think this is happening, and also, who the fuck are you? So for a long time, I've just been sitting here waiting and hoping. And when I realized that they were casting, like the announcement was out there and they were casting the queens, I was like, okay, please call me. Somebody call me. If it's just a guest judge position, if I'm just there for one episode, if I'm just, anything. I don't know, the sidekick, whatever. I'll do whatever. And nothing happened. And I was like, oh God, okay. I guess we'll be watching from the sidelines. And then one day, I got an email, and it was Steve Kelly, our showrunner. And he was like, hey, he had a World of Wonder email address. And he was like, hey, we would like to talk to you. Would you be open for a video chat? And I was like, sure.
What could go wrong?
It was for the next day. So I took off of work, got myself in full glamorous drag. I was sitting exactly here with the same background, and took the call. And he was like, oh, wow, you look great. And I was like, sure. And yeah, we had a lovely conversation. And I think a couple of days later already, I got the confirmation. And I mean, the shitty thing is that you cannot tell anyone, right?
Definitely.
You're under oath, kind of. You cannot tell anyone. So I was sitting here just imploding, kind of, with joy and excitement and anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest honor of my life, honestly, that I got to host the first season, and I'm hoping we're going to have more. We don't know, but
yeah, I guess you just answered the second question.
It feels like being knighted, you know? I mean, Drag Race has been such an important part of my life for well over a decade and a half. It's all I talk about all the time. All my friends are obsessed. I mean, this is literally almost a religion for us. So to be even considered was amazing, but then to get to do it was just insane.
I can only imagine, honestly. I've been new to the world of drag. Again, I said I was introduced to drag 4 years ago through Drag Race, and I've been a huge fan ever since. I watched all the franchises, all the seasons, all the episodes, every single one. I know every single queen, everything. And I'm not just saying this because you're my guest and we have this interview today, but Barbie, you are literally in, if not the top 1 and the top 2 of my most favorite hosts ever. I will let you know why later, but there's something about the way that you interact with the queens, with yourself, with the show as in general, that's so heartwarming, that's so real and authentic. And as a viewer, again, I don't know German, I was reading the subtitles all the time. I don't know, it just translated. I didn't need to understand what you were saying. I could just feel that you were authentic about this journey. And this made the entire season one of my favorites. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
Okay, now I'm curious about something. So you're a co-host with your partner, Gianni.
That is something that got lost in translation.
Oh, okay.
The German word for friend can be used as the word for boyfriend also, and they translated it as boyfriend. And so there was a lot of confusion about this. Okay. I introduced him as my friend, Gianni Jovanovic, and I didn't know where this was coming from. Like one day Gianni called me and he was like, girl, everybody's asking if I'm your boyfriend. And then I'm like, what? Why?
Well, actually, what I understood from it, he was your husband. So that was crazy. Okay.
No.
Well, I'm glad we got to fix this miscommunication here.
No. Been married to a really lovely person, Paul. I love him for,
that's amazing.
I think, 15 years already. They've been married for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to change my question here. I was going to say, how is it to co-host with a partner, but now how was it to co-host with a friend? Like, you know, sometimes friends fight, sometimes friends don't agree on everything. So how was that interaction and dynamic with Gianni?
It was great. I mean, we had a great time. It was me, him, and Diane, and we
love Diane here, by the way. She's amazing.
I love Diane. No, we were just a really fun team. I mean, of course, I had a lot more work to do. So I didn't see them that much. But when we got to see each other, when we were hanging out in the evenings and everything, it was just, we had so much fun.
I love that. Do you have like a certain moment or like one experience on set that's like iconic that you would never forget? It could be anything.
There's honestly so many. I mean, we've had the stuff that you've seen on camera. There were a lot of moments already that were super special to me. The moment with Naomi in the workroom.
Definitely.
Where we were talking about HIV and she started crying. I'm gonna...
Du trägst die rote AIDS-Schleife mit dir rum sehr demonstrativ. Tell me why.
HIV/AIDS ist so ein großer Part in unserer queeren Historie. Und wir haben so viele gute Stimmen verloren. Und ich finde, für mich ist das so meine Art, meinen Respekt zu zollen. Den Menschen, die für die Rechte, die ich jetzt habe, gekämpft haben. Weil ich finde, sobald man vergisst, wie viel Struggle dahinter steht, geht auch der Struggle der Menschen verloren. Ich möchte das wertschätzen.
Ich sage immer wieder, wir stehen auf den Schultern von Giganten, von den Menschen, die vor uns gelebt haben, gekämpft haben und gestorben sind.
Du bist mich halt so sehr damit, oh Gott. Ich weiß nicht warum, aber...
Komm her. Oh.
I love you.
I love you too, mein Schatz. Und wirklich danke.
Ja, Love, danke dir. Oh Gott, ey. Oh. Und ich habe gesagt, ich will nicht heulen.
Zu spät, bitte. Zu spät.
Immerhin ohne Make-up.
It was a very emotional moment.
It was. And I love Naomi and that we've known each other for a long time. And getting this kind of feedback from her was just really special. Meta's final lip sync, I was just, you don't see it on camera, I think, because there might be a blur or two on my face.
Ich glaube, der wichtigste Moment in diesem Lip Sync ist der Reveal von dem Monster auf meinem Arm. In dem Moment zeige ich mein Trauma den harten Weg.
But there were like literal tears streaming down my face because it was really fucking moving. But we also had a bunch of amazing moments backstage. And I mean, honestly, it was just the moment that's burned into my memory forever, I guess, is my first time standing on that runway.
Yeah.
And, you know, everybody waiting and then the lights going on, the music going on. And then it's just me walking out there and, you know, opening
I just
this
got
show.
chills, by the way.
It was insane. Girl, it was insane. First time in the workroom. The first time that I walked into the workroom, I didn't want to know who was on the show. Like all of my friends were already on Reddit and everybody knew the cast. And I was like, don't tell me. I don't want to know. I want to be surprised when I work for the first time. I want to know. Like that has to be the moment that I see them for the first time. You can actually see my face because I'm like, oh my God.
Herzlich willkommen zur allerersten Staffel von Drag Race Germany! Meine Queens, wir sind Teil einer Community, die es immer wieder schafft, den ganzen Mist, den uns die Welt vor die Füße spült, mit Liebe und Kreativität in Kunst und Entertainment zu verwandeln. Ich bin kurz vorm Heulen, nur dass ihr es wisst. Die ganze Zeit, ja, es ist very emotional. Ich weiß, wie viel Mut es erfordert, sich der Welt so zu zeigen, wie wir nun mal sind. Und ihr schreibt jetzt schon Geschichte.
And I walked past the set. They didn't know that I was coming. They were in there filming their entrance. And I walked past the set. They didn't see me. And then I come from the back through the door, right, and do my hello, hello, hello. And the first one that I hear, I didn't see anyone. The first one I hear is Kelly Hilton from far away. She was like, la, 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 la. And I was like, okay, so Kelly's here. But then walking in the first time was also insane. Yeah. Just walking in there and seeing them and knowing half of them, I guess, and then not knowing the rest, and also trying to check out who is who and were the rumors correct, because somebody was already telling me maybe there's a cis woman on the cast, but we don't know who. Like it was fun.
That's amazing. Like I can only imagine, as you said, you've been planning for this for what, 10 years? Yeah, almost 10 years, if not more. And then just to have everything, like you're completely, oh my God, your whole world changing and you're just in that spotlight. Everything you've worked for is like, this is it. This is the moment I've been working for my entire life. Yeah. We're glad that they chose you to be the host, Barbie.
Thank you.
Okay, so as you just mentioned, so filming Drag Race, and everything was a mix of like entertainment, fun, but also there were some serious moments and emotional moments. And I think throughout those moments, you've become like a mother figure to all of these queens, or this is what was translated. I want to know, like, talking to you now, seeing you on socials and knowing a little bit about your story, you give me that vibe, like you give me a mother vibe. But going on to the show, was this like a conscious decision that I want to be a mother to these queens, or like it did happen just naturally?
I was literally just being myself. I mean, I guess there were moments when it was never communicated to me, but there might have been moments when people were even, thinking about how I should say things, or if it wouldn't be cooler if I did this or that. And I was 100% myself. I did what I wanted to do with the girls. I talked about what I wanted to talk to them about. And also after the show ended, I mean, I'm still in touch with all of them. When the shows aired and when the girls got eliminated, I always checked in with the queens, like, how are you doing? Are you okay? But this is not an act for me. This is just who I am. I was just texting Tessa because she got eliminated today on Global All Stars. Spoiler alert.
I have my thoughts about that, but we'll leave that later.
That's just not an act. That's just who I am. And if that comes across motherly, then I'm very flattered, because I think that's a great thing to be. But it's not on purpose.
I love that. And yeah, as I mentioned, it did come up as very genuine, very sincere, and you can actually see it through the screen. So that was great to see you. Hello, everyone. I just want to take a minute to thank our sponsor, Sabal Public Library, for giving us the amazing space to shoot in. I would like to also thank our funders, the Embassy of the Kingdom of Netherlands, for their kind donation that helped make this season a reality. Again, we all hope that there's a second season.
Yes.
If that were to happen, do you have any plans, any hopes where you want to take this new season to?
I mean, I wasn't really involved in any decisions for the first season. Like, I got there, everything was already like planned out. The challenges were planned, and the lip syncs and the guests and and I would just love to be a little bit more involved, or a lot more involved. If we get a second season. Not because I didn't, no, that came out wrong. Not because I didn't like what they did with the first season, but because I would like to have more control about everything. I just have a bunch of ideas about guest judges and challenges and lip sync songs and stuff like that. I would like the cast to be more inclusive. Obviously, I'm also not a skinny person, and I would love to have some body inclusivity on the cast. As well as more diversity in terms of ethnicity and all that. But that always also belongs to the casting people, and it's difficult to find the right mix wherever you go, I guess.
Okay. Well, I hope you do get more freedom to do all of that, because I'm pretty sure it would be amazing. Actually, I lied. I do have one more question about Drag Race in general. Sure. It's actually a two-part question. One, I want to know, what do you think about Tessa's performance on Global All-Star?
She's such amazing TV. I'm so proud of her. I mean, when I knew that she was on, of course, a long time before it was announced. And so I was in touch with her, and she was really like focused. And I think for her, it was really important to prove herself and just make sure that people get to see who they wanted her to, like, who she wanted to be seen as, and show her art, and get out of this rut that she was in on Drag Race Germany and get out of the bottom finally. And she did it amazingly. I think she was such an endearing person to watch. She was the funniest person in the workroom. She would always like steer the camera in a way, and she got so much screen time. I was so proud of her. I mean, some of it was still messy, I'm not gonna lie, but that's also her charm, I think.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
So much of it was gorgeous. Yeah. She came there with an amazing package. I know Meta helped her a lot. Meta sold a lot of stuff for her and set her up with contacts and shit. I mean, she just looked incredible.
She was amazing. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there was only like a 4-month period between shooting Drag Race Germany and Global. So
agree. Yeah.
Her improvement is insane. Like,
Yeah.
complete glow up. We
Yeah.
love to see that. And coming back to my note earlier that I have some thoughts about her getting eliminated. She should be in the top 4 for sure, but it happened how it happened.
I haven't seen the episode yet, honestly. I just through social media, of course, I was reminded that today is the day, and I was like, oh shit.
No, she did amazing, and I'm just happy that the word was, one, reintroduced to her and her abilities and the amazing queen that she is, and two, also for a lot of the world to get to know about Drag Race Germany and hopefully watch it, tune in, because it is amazing. The caliber of drag that you have on the show is stunning. Like,
I agree. And it could have gone either way, you know? I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with German drag, but German drag has, it could have gone either way. Like, we have a lot of really, really old school queens in Germany that don't even consider themselves to be drag queens. They consider themselves to be Travestie-Künstler, which is a different genre, actually. It's more of a, you know, the aesthetic is different, the humor is different. It's not very modern. It can be hilariously funny, and some of those people are really great performers, and I would have loved to see more of that actually on Drag Race. But the way that they balanced it out in the casting was a good choice, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Barbie, you know, being in the spotlight gives you like a platform to advocate, to raise awareness, stuff like that. So I just want to know how being in the spotlight of Drag Race helped you, one, elevate your initiatives, your awareness initiatives, raising advocacy, raising awareness about queer LGBTQIA plus issues and all of that.
I mean, the reason why I said in the beginning that some people call me an activist, but I'm not so sure if I agree, is that right now I'm not an activist. I'm not very active. I'm not doing a lot. I'm not on social media a lot. I try to really stick to my guns and like focus on my mental health a little bit more.
That's important too. That is important.
It is important too. It is important too. But it, you know, I mean, I'm very well aware that you're sitting in a country that's, you know, under siege, and yeah, and I'm sitting here with my ridiculous privilege. So, you know, I'm very well aware how absurd that is. So yeah, I wouldn't call myself an activist these days. What I did before Drag Race, I kept doing. I'm very involved in the HIV community here in Germany. I'm trying to raise awareness. I'm happy to do all of the interviews. I'm happy to talk to all of the people. But my activism, except for a few exceptions, which I know we're going to talk about, the Russia video, usually is more about sharing my story and my experience with the people who want to listen to me. It's not an activist. It's not an act where I, of course, I also go outside and I go to demonstrations and I do all that, but it's more about not being ashamed about the things that I am and the things that I've gone through and the things that I've the things that I've done in the past. And so I wrote a book, right? Tragischer Bagaya 2.0 is the German title. It's also the name of one of my podcasts. And I use those platforms to just share my story, because that was for me one of the hardest things growing up, was feeling so different from everybody else around me and realizing that I am so different to everybody else around me in certain ways, and not having anyone reflect that kind of energy back to me. Like, there was nobody who was like me when I was growing up, and I was looking everywhere, and there was just I couldn't find myself in the outside. I couldn't get a reflection, and so I felt like the loneliest, weirdest, sickest, craziest kid on the planet, until I saw people who were like me, until I saw people who shared their stories, who were open about what they were going through and how they were feeling. And that was a moment in my life, realizing this as a teenager, really, how much that helped me not feel alone anymore and not feel isolated anymore, was the moment that I made a decision for the rest of my life. So whatever happens to me and whatever shit I'm going through, I will never try and hide it from other people, because it has helped me so much if other people shared their shadows, their darknesses. And that's what I'm still doing. I'm talking about my HIV, I'm talking about my eating disorders, about my mental health, about all of the things that affect me, with the hopes that I'm helping other people. And that's also the feedback that I'm getting, so yay. But I wouldn't necessarily call it activism.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Pacifism.
No, but what you're saying is very important. In a way, there's two parts here. Part one is about representation, seeing people out there sharing similar stories to you, experiences, way of life. It just makes the world a little bit less lonely, to be honest. Again, I come from a very, very, very small town in northern Lebanon, population almost 700, 800, which is basically nothing. There's absolutely zero queer representation. My introduction to queer culture was through movies, TV shows, but that was very minimal, very limited. And then when I got...
And also the way that the people are painted on those TV shows is usually also not that great.
Exactly. And my actual introduction to like queer on a global stage was through Drag Race, or when I got the chance to go to the United States for my master's degree. That's when I was able to learn more about the culture, like firsthand experience it, live it, meet people from all walks of life, all types of gender expressions, sexualities, and just find myself. And that's very important, because in a way, why I love Drag Race is, especially outside of the US, is there are a lot of representations, a lot of stories that I can connect with. And it just makes my little heart like feel, okay, I feel seen, like if they make it, I can make it somehow. And this is what I want to do with my podcast. It's like just showcase the people around me, my community, that there's so much to the world if you just like be open, just dare to explore it, learn more about it, and just have fun. So that's one part of what you were saying that I totally agree.
That's very important.
100%. And the second part is the important. So yeah, just owning everything you've been through. So all of your experiences, all of your hardships, problems, success, everything led you to be the person that you are now today. So yes, we make a lot of mistakes along the way. Yes, we have trouble. Yes, it's like, it's not easy, it's hard. But at the end of the day, I am here now. I have this platform, like I have this voice, I have this life that I love. It's just because I have this mindset. It's all because everything I went through. And this is also important because just, owning everything and just moving forward and embracing life for whatever it has to offer. So thank you for sharing.
There shouldn't be no shame. I mean, I deal with internalized shame a lot, but there should be no shame around these topics. We shouldn't feel ashamed.
100%. And again, talking about HIV, on the show, your story and your moment with Naomi was very inspiring, because one, it helped people understand a little bit more about it, and two, that they can relate. If two amazing queens are on my screen, like being successful, being awesome, being the divas that they are, and just owning it. So I shouldn't live with that stigma. I should also embrace it and educate other people and hopefully enjoy life. So yeah, thank you for that as well. Okay, Barbie.
Naomi is not HIV positive, by the way. I hope that didn't also get lost in translation.
Yeah, that's how it translated.
Whoopsie.
Okay, we need to work better on translations. Whoever is
we're gonna have to work on that too. But
okay,
I'm gonna text her. I hope she knows.
Glad. Yeah. Okay, I'm glad
It was really the moment was about her, because I talk about in my podcast and in my work, I talk a lot about the gigantic loss to our community through the AIDS crisis, and what that meant to the people who experienced it. And I was on the end of it. I was born on the end of it. I'm lucky enough that I didn't contract HIV until I was 2005, I guess. Yeah, 2005. So there was already medication and and I didn't see too many people die. I wasn't too traumatized by it. But it's a huge part of our
culture,
history, of our queer history.
100%.
And I took it upon myself to educate the younger generations about the people that we've lost and how traumatic that is, and how that also influences a lot of the ways that we interact with each other today, and how we're struggling to find people of a certain age that are queer that we can identify with. You know, there's hardly any people still alive in America and in Europe where you can look at them and be like, oh yeah, that's a good role model for me. I want to 100%. Be like that at 70. And you know, I think for the kids who don't necessarily have the information at their fingertips because, you know, it's not being talked about on TikTok or whatever, it's our job as the queer elders to kind of keep that alive. But at the same time, I also realized it's very important that I don't burden them with the same trauma, because that's also something that happened. And I realized through my work, people would write me after their diagnosis today, like, you know, in the last couple of years, and they would write me and be like, oh my God. And now all of this is happening and I'm going through this traumatic experience. I'm like, yeah, baby, but I understand, because it was the same for me too. But like me, you are completely safe. Like you have access to medication, you live in a country where that's not a problem. You will die of natural causes, you will not die of AIDS. So I understand that the trauma is there, but it's unnecessary. And that's something that I needed to understand myself and learn, that I shouldn't inherit that to another generation, because that's...
But also, there's something we say here in our country, and I'm gonna try to translate it as best as I can. You can't really plan for the future without knowing your history first. Again, there's no need to relive the trauma, but understand where you come from, understand your history, the sacrifices that were done. So, you know, the privilege, although it's not a privilege, but like the privilege that you're living through, and that how you can also keep the message alive, move it forward to others so they don't forget.
Yeah. But that was the moment in the workroom. It was just her saying that she was wearing the red pin, the red bow, whatever, because I had taught her through my work that this was important and to keep that memory alive, and she wanted to do that as well. So that was the moment. It was not about her.
Thank you. I'm glad we were able to clear this second miscommunication today.
Literally lost in translation.
Yeah, it's we need to work that. Barbie, you know, you've showed a lot of resilience throughout your life, and this drives me to the 2013 incident, or like the 2013 protest, actually, not incident. Forget that. So for those who don't know, can you tell us what happened in 2013 and why?
In 2013, people were still using Facebook, so was I. And there was a series of videos from Russia, from a Russian social media network, where queer people, mostly young gay men, were lured into almost hostage situations under false pretenses. They would go online because Russia at this time was already super homophobic, of course. And they would go online looking for a date, and then somebody would answer and they would be like, hey, you want to meet up? This is my apartment, come over. The people would go there, go to this apartment, but instead of another young gay man, for example, there would be a group of 10 skinheads with weapons, and they would take them into the apartment. They would force them to strip. They would put them in the bathtub and shower them with chemicals, piss on them, laugh at them, force them to stick stuff up their anal region. And this was all being filmed, and they put those videos online.
Wow.
As the organization that did this was called Occupy Pedophilia. So once again, they claimed to do something to protect the children from pedophiles, when in actuality, they were just targeting gay people. So this was going on for a while, and for I guess a week or something, I would see those videos pop up again and again, and I would just watch them and sit at home and be completely enraged, but also I felt horribly helpless at the same time, because I thought, oh my God, this is so far away. What can I do to change the situation? Because nobody was talking about it. The media wasn't talking about it. I mean, those videos were around for everyone to see, but no press outlet picked it up. Nobody was interested in the gay kids being horribly beaten and abused in Russia. So I knew that I couldn't stop them from doing what they were doing, but I thought I could maybe do something that would generate enough interest, media interest, to focus on this. So maybe if the media attention is there, then maybe something is going to get done. And so I did the only logical thing. I went to a little shop next to my house. I bought a really sharp, nice needle and some thread, and then went to my basement and we set up a video camera and a light, and then I sewed my mouth shut for real. And then I uploaded this with an inspiring little lyric informing the world what was going on in Russia, and hoping that everybody was going to do something about it, or somebody was going to do something about it. And that went viral pretty quickly, I think 2 or 3 days, and then it was literally all over the world. The backlash was enormous, I want to say. I mean, I never have a problem really with backlash from like the Catholics or the conservatives or the Nazis. Like, that's something that I expect. That's something that I deal with on a regular, that I don't really mind. What it didn't was I wasn't prepared for was the backlash from my own community, like the German community, parts of them. First, they claimed that it was fake, that because I'm a makeup artist, that this was somehow prosthetics and fake blood, blah, blah, blah. And then when they realized that I was bullshit, they were kind of claiming that I was only doing this for attention, and that I was trying to like become a celebrity on the backs of the victims in Russia, which was also stupid. But yeah, that was a lot harder to deal with, to be honest. That really hit me. Yeah, that was that.
I think this again goes hand in hand and raising awareness, educating people, make them realize about like stuff that are happening worldwide. Again, we all live in our own bubbles, which is perfectly fine. But again, sometimes, especially if we live in developed countries, we tend to forget the privileges and the ease of life that we have. And sometimes it's very important to raise awareness in any way possible. If like a normal post, or like sharing a story, or if like going online talking, it's not working, sometimes you have to do a drastic measure, you have to do a drastic move just to get people's attention, and hoping someone somewhere would do anything to stop these horrific acts that are happening worldwide. And once you've done all that, aside from the backlash, were there any actions taken or no?
I mean, in Germany, yes, there was an activist group that kind of formed, that got inspired by my video, and then they became an activist group. They were just friends, and then suddenly they were a group, and they organized a demonstration in front of the Russian embassy, and there were, I think, 5,000 people, 8,000 people. It was a lot of people. God, I just sounded like Donald Trump. I have the biggest crowds. No, there were a lot of people there, for real. That was amazing. But apart from that, no. I think that was also the mistake in my plan. The thing that I didn't think about before, that a lot of the attention stayed with me, because the action itself was so crass and it was so radical that people rather discussed if I was mentally stable, or if I needed to be checked into a hospital, instead of focusing on the situation for the victims. I'm happy to say that the person who was the leader of Occupy Pedophilia actually got thrown in a jail situation, like a working camp, not because of me, but because of something else horrible he did, and he died in there. So silver linings, I guess.
Exactly.
But nothing I did actually help the victims, I think. No, sadly.
I guess at least it made people more aware of what's happening. So that's something.
Sure.
But this actually takes me to today, like almost 10, 11 years later, queer people, drag is under attack. How do you feel about all of that? Like, is there, like, I know there's a lot of talk about criminalizing drag performers or criminalizing queer people. And we're just here trying to live life, not hurting anyone, expressing our art, your art, basically. I hope I am.
I mean, it's with the rise of fascism, with the rise of populist kind of demagogues, like these characters. Usually, and it's the same in Germany as it is in America with the New Republicans. It's the same concept that those parties don't have anything to offer to the people that they want to vote for them. The Republicans don't give a shit about the working man as much as the AfD in Germany gives a fuck about anybody in the east of Germany, the people who are fighting for their jobs, the people who are losing their jobs, the people who are really scrambling. They don't have anything to offer them. So the way to get them to the election booth to vote for them is to give them something to be afraid of, something to hate. And this, it's really, it's the blueprint. They all do it. They did it in the 1930s in Germany with the Jews. They're doing it now in America with the immigrants. And they're doing it here with the drag queens as well, and with trans women all over the world. It's demonizing a group of people and activating fears that have always been there because, they get passed on from generation to generation. And that's how it works. And it's a smokescreen. It's a distraction tactic from the fact that those people don't have anything to offer, that they don't have any answers. They don't know shit about how to solve the really complicated times that we're living in. And instead of, offering solutions or offering helpful ideas, this is what they offer. So am I threatened? Yes. Am I surprised? No.
Yeah. It's basically the same thing happening all over the world. In Lebanon last year, 2 drag queens were performing in Beirut, which is our capital, and they got attacked. And following that attack for almost a couple of months, online, there was a huge online campaign painting all the queer community in Lebanon, especially the drag queens, as sinners, pedophiles, devil worshippers. They photoshopped their work and posted them on TV everywhere, talking about how these performers will ruin your kids, your life, how they're endangering our lifestyles, our everything, our religions. And it got so bad that the queens had to escape the country. It was that bad. Now it's a little bit better, but there's no laws, there's nothing from the political party to help this discriminized community over and over and over again. And again, like right now, we're in the middle of the war. And there's absolutely no help to the queer community unless it's like certain NGOs or the community itself raising awareness, raising funds to help people in need. And it's just sad because like at the end of the day, we're all people, we're all trying to live our lives. I've been saying this again and again, and there are so much, like our priority should not be on criminalizing queer people more than give me better infrastructure, give me water, give me electricity, give me jobs. Like I don't care about who lives next to me as long as I have a job, I have water, I have electricity, I have food on my table. And that's what people are not understanding. Don't fight your brothers and sisters, go fight who should be fought. But it's a bigger conversation that hopefully...
it's the ancient, if you look at ancient Rome, how do you keep the masses entertained? You build an arena and you have people kill each other for money.
100%. Distract them with something not as important. And
you give them an outlet for hate, for their own frustrations. And this is something that you can control people with, apparently. And the discussions in Germany alone over the past, I want to say 2 years, that have garnered this kind of emotional response in people and this, hatred and are about the stupidest things you can imagine. The stupidest shit. Heating, about heating, about electricity, about
100%.
climate activists. Like, they will get so enraged about the stupidest bullshit. All the while, all of this is happening. All of the shit that's been happening in the past couple of years that we're all witness to, that we're all experiencing at the same time in this constant shock of like, oh my God, another thing. And those people are literally distracting their people by, dangling the shit in front of them, being like, hey, shouldn't you be afraid of drag queens touching your children? Isn't this really a threat? You haven't thought about it, have you? Think about it. It's insane.
It's insane. It's beyond insane. Yeah. Barbie, I wanted, moving from this topic, and before we wrap up, on a lighter side, on a lighter note, what is your message to our listeners, to future performers? Anything you want to say?
That's a threefold thing, kind of. First of all, and this is literally to everyone out there, this doesn't have to be, you don't have to be an aspiring drag performer, you don't even have to be queer. For me, the thing that I am still learning, I'm 46 years old, I'm still learning this on a daily. If you like the person that you are, I'm talking about looking in the mirror, but also metaphorically, if you like the reflection of who you are, then nobody else's opinion should matter. Mm-hmm. Like, if you are a 46-year-old man and you like to wear makeup and go out in the streets and, look fabulous, then fucking do it. If people frown, who gives a shit? But that goes for every aspect of your life. If you like the person that you are, other people's opinions shouldn't matter, unless you're hurting somebody, which of course we don't do. That's one thing. For drag performers, I think, be fucking grateful. We didn't have YouTube. I will never shut up about this. We didn't have YouTube. I had to look like complete shit for years because I didn't have a drag mother. I didn't have YouTube. I got my little bits of information about how to apply makeup from a Kevin O'Quan book, okay? And from like lady magazines, where of course they don't teach you how to cover an eyebrow. So be fucking grateful for the privilege of being born in this time where everything is accessible to you. Copy in the beginning and then quickly try and develop your own style, your own uniqueness, because I'm kind of tired of seeing queens that look exactly like everybody else. So yes, I guess that would be my tip for young drag queens. Copy and then quickly find out who you are. And I guess, in terms of performing, I love seeing so many girls being super, super successful on social media. But also we see that a lot of the social media girls don't really do well on Drag Race because the aspect of, performance and maybe even communication is still hard for them because they're just not used to it. So also, get out of your shell if you can. Get out there a little bit, mingle, make mistakes. Mistakes are great. Failure is great for learning. It's great for character building. It's great for getting better at your craft and just becoming a better human, really. Failure is amazing.
100%. I totally agree.
Right.
Yeah. Again, failure breeds success.
Yeah.
I know someone said that because I have it in my mind. But it's true. If you don't dare to get out there, explore, try stuff, fail, try it again, fail again, try it. How would you learn? How would you grow? How would you know what works best, what doesn't work, and how to adapt? So yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, and performance is just, it's an art form, but it's also a craft. And, you only learn by doing it. Yeah. You only learn by going out there, being uncomfortable, doing things that, at first feel completely horrifying. And then, the first time you get that bitch to applaud in the first row and, actually laugh at your jokes, or, the first time you make somebody cry because of what you did on stage, because they're so touched by your performance. Those are amazing moments, and you'll never have them if you're just sitting at home hiding behind a camera.
Exactly.
And Facetune.
Barbie, I want to thank you so much for, again, being our guest for this episode. I personally, as Francesco, I've learned so much today about you, about drag in general, about your experiences. And I'm pretty sure our listeners and our viewers will hopefully, after listening to this entire episode, hoping they will listen to the entire episode,
they will
go out with I learned something. I discovered something new and or changed something in their mindset that, okay, this is good. So thank you for being so open with us, and again, agreeing to be part of this little small family that hopefully will be growing.
I love that. You were an amazing host. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. To everyone listening, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that you were able to see Barbie in a brand new light and to learn a little bit from her story and her experiences. Meanwhile, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, stay safe.